It has been almost 7 years since I last published a book, almost 7 years since I last finished a manuscript. I have written in that time, but I have not been writing to publish. I have not been writing to query. I have not been writing to do anything like that. Most of what I've written has been stuff I've written for fun that I either cannot or do not want to turn into a published book. On the one hand, I was expanding my craft. I was still getting the words in, but I can't publish any of those words. So it both feels like I was doing something useful and I was doing something the opposite of useful. It's really difficult to parse how I feel about the time I spent not publishing because I chose to stop for a reason. It was the right thing to do for me. It was the right choice, but I knew it wasn't a forever thing. I knew it wasn't that I wanted to stop publishing, that I wanted to stop writing. It wasn't any of that. I was burned out and I needed a break. Not necessarily from writing, but from publishing, from trying to make it as an indie author. I have a tendency to take on too much and get overwhelmed. When you're in that state for a long time, that leads to burnout. I do not know how not to get in that state because I'm probably going to reignite some burnout doing YouTube. I'm trying to keep my goals realistic and hold me to that because I need all the help I can get. So I want to talk about my 2025 goals, my plans for writing and publishing, and a few personal things too. It is February 25th, which means it is almost the end of February. This video won't get posted until sometime in March. So is it a little late to be talking about my 2025 goals? No, it's not actually. Because not all goals have to start January 1st. Okay, so I have these goals divided into different sections. I have work goals and personal goals. Most of my goals are work goals, and I have that divided into 3 sections. For the most part, I have developed tiered goals, so I have everything divided into good, better, and best. The first section of stuff is generally writing and publishing. These things, they are so connected that separating them doesn't really make sense, even though one is actually writing them and one is getting them out there in the world. They are separate but connected. I haven't been doing as much writing in the past few months, even on the personal projects that I won't be publishing. One of the things I really need to do is develop a writing routine again. I am so out of practice with doing it regularly, doing it at a set up time. I don't know what a good routine for me would be at this point in my life. I am going to turn 34 in a month. I have young kids. There are so many aspects of my life that require a lot of attention that I cannot fully delve into writing regularly, or I haven't been able to regularly. And there are a few factors to that. Part of it is I write here at my desktop. I can't do that while my kids are watching a movie. If I'm the only parent here, I need to be closer to them. Where I am located doesn't work for that. Yes, I can work on my phone, but it depends on what I'm working on, whether that is something that I'm able to do. Because if I know exactly what I want to be writing, and I don't need to go back and look at a different section, that would be fine. I can write in my Google Drive and transfer it to my Scrivener file after the fact. I am a PC and Android person, so I don't have a Scrivener phone app that connects. So that makes it a lot more complicated for writing on the go. I also do not have a laptop right now, so I can't just transfer over files and work at my dinner table while the kids are in the next room. It makes it a lot more complicated. I definitely got a lot more writing done when I had a functioning laptop. That also meant I could go to coffee shops and stuff like that. And at this point in time, I can't do that. Getting a new laptop is definitely something I want to do in the near future. Because of all of that, I don't really have a developed writing routine right now. A lot of authortubers are doing videos where they try famous authors' writing routines. I love those videos. They're so fun. That feels like it would be a good way to try different methods and figure out what works for me. It would be fun to do something like that where one week we write Stephen King. In 1 week we write like whoever else. I don't know. If you have any suggestions on who would be the best to try or the most fun to try, leave them down in the comments. That would be a huge help. I haven't done a whole lot of research on this yet. I would like to try to do 3 to 5 of these. Hopefully that would help me get a good idea of what sort of writing routine works for me and what doesn't. So my good goal for writing routine would be trying 3 to 5 of these, and then better would be 5 to 8, and best would be more than 8. I don't know how realistic some of those are. If I only do 3, then I only do 3, and that still hits my baseline goal. So even that would be amazing. Even trying just 3 different writing routines would give me a much better idea of what kind of writing routine I need. As for specific writing projects, there are 2 main projects I want to work on this year. The first one is the 4th and final book in my series. It is about 75% of the way done, but because I had to rearrange some things, I had to go back and go through everything again. I don't really have a good, better, best goal here because my goal is get this published. It needs to be published, but I do have a general breakdown of what needs to happen. First, I need to finish the current draft. I am in the process of revising sections that needed changed, and then I do need to finish writing it. So there's about 50,000 words that I need to finish revising or editing, and then I need to write probably around 25,000 more new words to the end. The next step is to edit and revise. Until I finish it, I don't know how much work it will really need, but I would imagine a decent amount, purely because this is the final book. I want it to have a good ending. I want it to have a quality ending. I want it to be, at the very least, as good as the other books. Then it's going to go to my critique partners. I have a few friends who have helped with the previous books in the series. It's been so long, I don't know if all of them will be able to do it. I will need to reach out and be like, hey, are you still able to do this? I know it's been a while and I'm sure you're busy, but it would be a huge help if you were able to. My main critique partner is someone who I know. She has been waiting for this book for years and she's a little mad about it, but I'm okay with that. She's one of my best friends. So after critique partners, the next step would be, more editing, more revision, and so on. Whatever else still needs done, and then publishing. I don't have a tiered goal for this because I need to get it done. I want to get it published. If I achieve nothing else in 2025, I will be happy if I get this book published. That is my number one goal for the entire year. The other project I really want to work on is a fantasy horror set in an alternate Victorian London. It is basically Red Riding Hood meets Jack the Ripper. For this project, my good goal level is finishing the draft. This is a rough draft. I've already done a discovery draft. It's a very messy discovery draft, and I'm not super happy with how it turned out. It was a mess, but I just need to finish the rough draft. That is going to be at least 50,000 words. I've started it, but I'm not very far in, so there's a lot still to write. I'm sure it will be more than 50,000 words, but if it's just 50,000 words for a rough draft, I'm fine with that. That's absolutely okay. If I can do that, and if I still have time, I would like to, at the very least, get started on the revised draft. My better/best goal for this is to complete the revised draft. I don't expect to be able to do that, but that would be awesome. Aside from those 2 main projects, I mostly want to work on short stories. I've written a lot of short fiction, but not something that feels like a complete story. There are only a few of those that really fit in that, but I have 4 or 5 ideas that I really want to hone down and turn into something that's like 5 to 20,000 words, absolute max. My good goal here would be to finish 2 stories and try submitting at least 1 of them. Better would be finish 3 to 5 and submit at least 2, and then my best goal would be more than 5 stories and submit at least 3, hopefully more. The next section of work-related goals has to do with my editing business. If you didn't know, I edit books. I took a break break from publishing, but I did not take a break from my editing business. That's what I've primarily been doing, and it's been my main source of income since 2019. However, because I haven't been as active on social media, most of my editing clients are returning clients, which is great. I love that. But I don't have enough clients for it to function well with only returning clients. My only real goal here is to gain more clients. It's hard to put a specific number on that, but my baseline goal is I would like to gain about 2 clients a month. That would be a huge help, a huge boost to YouTube stuff, and make it more realistic for me to be able to do this as often as I want. Better would be 3 new editing clients a month, and best would be 4 or 5 new editing clients a month. Any more than that, and it's unrealistic. Sometimes I already have 2 or 3 manuscripts to edit in a month. Sometimes I have 0. So these numbers are on average. The next section of work-related goals is basically business or craft improvement goals. I have 2 main goals here. I don't really have them tiered. It's just not something that can be tiered or that I necessarily want to have tiered. I would like to find a local writing group. I'm not really sure how to go about that. I have been in one in the past that was run by a friend, but she and I were the only ones who were really doing it regularly, and everyone else was just coming and going until COVID happened. And then in early 2020, she moved. So she lives farther away now. We don't get to hang out very often, and we certainly don't get to sit down and do writing sessions. I haven't been in a writing group since then. I would really like to find a group of local writers to get together with. That may involve me starting one. I would prefer not to have to do that because it would just be one more thing for me to be doing, one more thing on my plate, and I am trying to avoid that. I guess I need to do some research. And my other goal for business and craft improvement is I want to go to a couple different local conferences or events. I have signed up for one that takes place mid-April. I'm going with a friend. She is one of my critique partners. She's also a polymer clay artist. Let's zoom in and hope you can see. This is a little bookmark. So this is an event that she told me about. We've both signed up for it. It is called the Artist Ink Express, and it is put together by 3 people. 2 of them are authors, and one of them is a polymer clay artist. So it just kind of worked out really cool. It is a 2-day workshop for artists of all different kinds. There's going to be a lot of discussions and activities. I don't really know what to expect here. It's probably going to be a little overwhelming. A lot of business-related planning and a lot of social interaction, which is not my forte, but at least one of my best friends will be there with me. That will be a huge help. And hopefully I feel comfortable enough to vlog the event. I intend to, and I really want to. Hopefully it goes well. One of the main things that the workshop website talks about is how this isn't just going to be 2 days. It's about networking and peer interactions. So maybe going to this event will help me find other writers who either have a writing group or want to start one. That would be really cool. That would be awesome. The fact that it is specifically for people in my area is probably the coolest part. I am really looking forward to meeting the other artists who are there and hopefully making some friends and definitely networking. Kind of related to all of that is the next section, which is marketing and social media stuff. This is the main thing that burned me out. This is the main reason I stopped publishing books. I'm going to talk about that a lot more. I want to do a whole video about why I stopped publishing and how bad my burnout got. This is not that video. Because of all of those experiences, the way I approach this needs to be drastically different. I don't necessarily plan on marketing my books hardcore. In some ways, my books aren't particularly marketable, at least not the ones I already have published. So that complicates things a lot. I also know that I want to pare down the amount of social media I'm trying to be active on. Right now, I'm not particularly active on any. I'm most active here on YouTube, just watching people's videos and commenting and interacting. and hopefully soon posting videos. Not hopefully. This is my third video I'm recording. I just haven't posted any of them yet. So because of that burnout in the past, I want to focus on one social media first, and then when I feel comfortable doing that, bring in a second, and maybe after that a third. And after that, I don't want any more. That's too many. My baseline goal for authortube is posting 2 times a month. That is absolute minimum I want to do. Better would be once a week, and best would be twice a week, where one of them is one of these kind of chatty videos and the other is a vlog. That would be the ideal. I don't know if I'm going to get there by the end of this year, but I think I can at least do once a week. But having the twice a month as my baseline means that if I miss 1 week, if I try doing that and it's too much and it's overwhelming, I can step back and still be meeting my goal. After YouTube, I'm not really sure what social media to focus on. My main choices are either Instagram or Blue Sky. I'm not sure which I lean toward. Blue Sky is still relatively new and therefore not as active, but I'm relatively happy with the interactions I have had there. I'm not sure which of those to choose. If you have any suggestions on which one you would recommend or where there's a more active writer community, I would appreciate that. Leave them in the comments. My final section of work-related goals is big purchases that I want to make. One of those is a new chair. I need a nice ergonomic chair. Another would be an actual vlogging camera, so I'm not relying on my phone, and then I can use my phone for other things while recording. And then probably the third thing would be a laptop. I want to be more mobile and versatile in my writing, so that requires having a mobile way to write. I need a laptop or maybe a tablet with a keyboard. Another major purchase I want to make for the future is I want to commission some artwork. I would like to have a really nice ending screen artwork that I can use for YouTube, and I'd also like to have some artwork maybe of my characters or something like that I can like turn into a bookmark or a postcard or something like that. And I'm not a terrible artist, but I really want to find an artist or a couple artists that have the right kind of style to match my writing, so I need to do some research on that. There's probably some other major purchase that I could include there. Maybe I'll think of something. So that leaves us with personal goals. I'm just including a couple personal goals. The main focus of this is, of course, my writing and editing, so I don't necessarily want to talk about all of this stuff as much. Reading. My Goodreads reading challenge goal is set to 30 books this year. I had it at 50 last year, and I think I read 37, so I decided to go with something that I knew would be achievable. I don't necessarily want that as my baseline for the goal overall, though. I think 25 is a good baseline goal. And then better would be like 40 books, and best would be 50 books. I don't expect being able to read more than 50 books, because I don't really expect being able to read 50 books at all. That is a lot of books, and I don't have a lot of time. I do want to set up my own book tracker in my Notion. I find Goodreads really useful for keeping track of TBR stuff, but as for keeping track of what books I've been reading, I would prefer to do that in my own place that does not require me to rate it or anything like that, where I have more control over the information I'm recording. Artwork. This is the first thing that isn't really related to writing in any way. I actually got my degree in fine arts and creative writing as a graduation gift. My in-laws, well, future in-laws at the time, gave me a really nice portable easel, and I've only used it a few times. But there is a local painting group that is active from April to, I believe, October. They meet up at like 9 a.m. every Thursday and paint. They have a whole schedule on their Facebook page. I am a little intimidated because I have not painted regularly since college. I've done it occasionally, but it is one of my favorite things that I have ever done, and I miss doing it regularly. So my baseline goal would be to go to these meetings once a month. Better would be twice a month, and best would be 3 or 4 times a month. I can't really expect myself to go every single meeting because sometimes it just won't work out. So having it 3 to 4 times a month instead of every single week is more realistic. Although I guess that's not really how tiered goals work, is it? And finally, travel. We don't really get to travel that often. That is the nature of having young kids in school and just, being poor. I don't really have a bucket list, but if I did, one of the main things on there would be going to every single national park. I've been to about a dozen so far, but there are like 60 of them now, so it's kind of insane, and I need to go to a lot more of them. And some of the ones I've been to, I need to go again because I was very young and don't really remember them. Unfortunately, in Missouri, there are not very many national parks around here. Technically, there's one, which is the Arch. I don't count it. I know I'm not the only person who got mad when they made that a national park. A lot of people did. National parks are supposed to be like natural beauties that are worth protecting. The Arch is a man-made thing that I don't care. I simply do not care. So that doesn't count. And also, I've already been there. I am almost 34. If I go to one national park every single year, I'll be like 70 by the time I'm done. That's too long. Anyway, this turned into a whole rant, apparently. Where we're located in Missouri, the closest national parks are Hot Springs in Arkansas and Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, which is relatively close to where my mother-in-law lives. Both of those are very realistic places to go. My baseline goal is I would like to go to one of those. And my better/best goal would be to go to both of them. So those are all of my 2025 goals. I don't know how realistic it would be to achieve all of them, but we're gonna try. I tried to make them not super ambitious because I don't want to burn myself out right away, but I also don't know how not to be ambitious about my projects. But yeah, I've been yapping at you for like an hour and a half now, which is ridiculous, and this is going to get cut down so much because I messed up so much in this. Let me know which famous authors' writing routines you think I should try. That would be a huge help. And I'll see you guys later.